first things first, let's go ahead and let's talk about some positives that this game is receiving. So, a lot of reviews have been coming out, and a lot of them have been very, very positive. And a few things have emerged from a lot of the different reviews. They've praised what this game looks like, the art direction, visually, character design, level design, all of these things have been getting praised. And I feel like this was a lot of the same for Ghost of Tsushima. I think this has been something that Sucker Punch has done well in both of these games, and this is quite honestly something I expected. Another thing that people have been praising is the combat and the gameplay mechanics, the gameplay loops. So different ways to interact with your weapons, how they're guiding you through the world, different things like that. So the combat, and those gameplay mechanics have been something that people have been raving about throughout these reviews. And one of the last things that I've noticed in all of the reviews that I've read is the storytelling. As you can see right here, it's very cinematic. The characters' performances are done really well, both in English and the native language of the game. So I am really looking forward to jumping into some of those things. So since we kind of spoke on what the positives were, let's talk a little bit about some. Let's get some specifics. Let's get some game quotes here. Now, this is from Gene Park of the Washington Post, and he says graphically, Ghost of Yotei sets a new bar for immersive environments capturing both beauty and atmosphere. So I really like that, because that means that they took a lot of time developing the world around the characters, and the world around you and how you interact with it is almost as important as the character itself. That could really make or break a game. So I'm really happy that that is something that people are, laminating, and that's something that they want, they want people to know. And I'm glad they took the time as developers to kind of create this world that people want to be in. And another quote here from Chris Tapsell of Eurogamer. He says the landscapes are breathtaking, and the attention to detail in every village and mountain makes the world feel alive. So again, attention to detail, grass swaying, NPCs walking, interacting, just a lot of different ways that you can kind of go and make that art direction and visually make that game look good, as well as make sure that this world feels alive. It feels like, NPCs are walking around, they have daily tasks and things that they're doing, and you're just a part of what's going on. So really, really excited to jump into this world. Now, again, let's talk about another positive thing that I've been noticing, and that's the combat, and that's the gameplay mechanics. And Ethan Gouch from one in the journalist titled Ethan Gouch, he says every duel feels cinematic and intense, with stealth mechanics that actually matter and impact the story. So that's something that I am interested in, because I know it's not like a Mass Effect where your decisions really play into how the story develops from scene to scene, but just saying that they impact the story and your mechanics impact the story, very interested in what that looks like. I'm not sure if Ghost of Tsushima was one of those games where your choices matter and it impacted the story. So I'll be interested to see if this one goes down that route, even if it's small. Even if it's, you did something last mission, so this mission, there are less guards in the area, something like that. I think those type of mechanics in games are useful, and they make for different playthroughs to feel dynamic, and no two playthroughs can feel the same. So I really hope that's something that they kind of really dug into. But again, we'll see once it is released here on October 2nd. Now, Richard Wakeling from GameSpot, he says the combat is more fluid and rewarding than its predecessor, offering players multiple ways to approach every encounter. Now, as you can see on the screen, you see a little combat going here. Um, as someone who played Assassin's Creed for the first time this year, that is a natural comparison for me. So he's saying that this combat is fluid and rewarding, and it's more so fluid and rewarding than its predecessor Ghost of Tsushima, and that they already said, those comparisons, that gameplay felt better than Assassin's Creed. And Assassin's Creed Shadows honestly just like R1, R2, like that's really what your attacks were. So I'm interested to see if this game is going to have more in-depth combos, or the fight's going to feel more realistic. And when I say realistic, parrying, blocking, and you're not hitting the guy 18 times just to get a elimination or a kill on him. So very interested to see what that looks like. And to round things up with the positive patterns from this game, pre-release here from the critics, is the character performance as well as the storytelling. So Gene Park from the Washington Post, he says the story delivers emotional highs and lows with characters that feel real and dialogue that resonates. So again, dialogue that resonates, emotional highs and lows. Those are all the hallmarks of a solid single player outing. In single player games, they need to make you feel connected to that character. They need to make you care about that character and the surrounding characters, the supporting cast. So I really like that it's saying that there are emotional highs and lows. That means that a lot of the decisions that we make is going to, have, emotional impact on our characters and the characters around them. So very interested to see what that looks like in the game. And then finally, another journalist says the protagonist's journey is compelling, and voice performances elevate the narrative beyond the typical samurai tale. Mm. So the voice performance. Now I want to talk a little bit about that, because for me, I plan on playing this game in the I think this is Japanese. I think they're in Japan. So I actually plan on playing this game in like full on native tongue. I'm just gonna be reading the subtitles. I think when you play like that, it kind of gives the game that authenticity that the developers want you to have when playing these games and thrusting yourself into that world. So I think that's going to be a really cool way to play the game. So very, very interested to see how that feels. In Assassin's Creed Shadows, it felt great. It felt wonderful. You do have to read the subtitles, but if you're a good reader, as you should be as an adult, you should be absolutely fine, and that immersion's really gonna feel good just by kind of keeping it in its native tongue. So, just kind of closing out some of those positives from a lot of these reviews that I've read. The visuals look good. The combat is excellent, just like its predecessor, and it has a good, emotionally engaging story. So those are hallmarks of a great top-notch single-player game.